Hey, sports porchers! It's your hockey Jesus with Game 80 Boston Bruins versus your Pittsburgh Penguins. Well, it's hard for me to keep the enthusiasm up tonight. Today, although it was an absolute great day for hockey, four just unbelievable games that needed to be played today on a Saturday. I just love it. I had the screens going, I had my laptop, I had my phone, I had the television. I had it all going on. They all were playing the hockey. I have no idea what's going on with the Masters. I don't even care because hockey was on all day, started at 12:30 and just finished up about 15 minutes ago. And unfortunately, the Pittsburgh Penguins were the ones who were the big losers today. They lose to Boston. They lost to Boston today 6-4. And I can just tell you what a disappointing finish it was for the Penguins. It just really man, it's just such an opportunity. The Penguins have been so good for the last 10 games, 7-0-3 in their last 10. Now they're 7-1-2 in their last 10, which is still incredible. I mean, if you think about it, this is their first regulation loss since March 22nd when they lost at Dallas 4-2, and it's actually their first regulation loss at home since March 16th when they lost to the Rangers 7-4. And you know what? I guess probably saw this coming. Unfortunately, Ned just ran out of gas. He really did. Ned in the last three starts. Look, he peaked when we played against Washington, right? 968 save percentage. They just played great. They beat Washington 4-1. Then Ned starts to go downhill. 889 save percentage. He gives up 4 goals. 870 save percentage in a loss, although they did get a point because it was a loss in overtime. And then the 6-5 win against Detroit, Ned was 833. It's just so hard to pull him out of the game. You know he has to be tired. He started the most amount of games in a row in the NHL this year by starting today's game. And I think they at some point had to rely on Jari to come in and steal a game. They clearly do not believe in Tristan Jari anymore, and that's going to be a problem in the offseason that we're going to have to tackle. But look, although we lost tonight, honestly, I give you the truth here. I'm your hockey Jesus. I absolutely give you the truth. The percentages are much worse now, but they definitely can still make the playoffs. But let's talk about the game just for a little bit because there are some things that I want to highlight. Look, when the game was 0-0 at the end of the first, both teams were playing pretty good. Boston just was out there kind of skating around. The Pens were out there kind of skating around. It looked like Boston had better opportunities, but Ned was doing his best to keep them in it. And then when Jake DeBrusk scored and then Pavel Zacha scored within, basically 14 seconds of each other, I knew the game was on because, look, the Penguins are not a good 2-1 game winners. They don't know how to play a low scoring game. They haven't played it all season. It's not who they are. It just doesn't work like that for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So once the goals started coming, I actually felt more comfortable about them winning this game. And then when Russ gets on the board, Drew O'Connor just had a hell of a game today. And, I'm thinking they're back. And then, of course, Shattenkirk scores. We're going on the power play and we give up a shorty. It's just like old times. It's like 4-1, really shorthanded goal. But hey, on the same power play, Pens come back. Bunning pushes one in. That was good, I think that's all good. But I take blame for the second period, and here's why. The hockey Jesus kind of has a rule when watching games at home. I don't really have any of the alcohol type beverages because it's just no good for the Penguins and it's no good for me watching the games. I actually enjoy the game more when I'm very much sober, drinking my Pure Leaf tea. Love Pure Leaf tea. Hockey Jesus approved Pure Leaf tea during the game. If I'm in a game at the stadium, sure, I'll buy a beer or two. I'll definitely have a beverage the arena. But when I'm at home, I don't do that. And then in the second period, I did that, and what do you know? 6 goals are scored. We're down 4-2, and I'm like, okay, that's it. No more drinks the rest of the game. I just couldn't do it, just because that should be the rule for the hockey Jesus moving forward. No drinks during the game. It just gets out of control. So 4-2, I'm actually not feeling terrible about it. This is the way the Penguins had to approach the rest of the game, and I think they did to some extent. They needed a point, right? All you need is a point to tie everybody that's above you. You're only behind them by a point. If you tie them, you're in that spot because you own the tiebreaker against all these teams with regulation wins. So you just play to tie the game. That's it. You only need 2 goals. You got to play defensively, and you just need to get 2 goals. And who gives them a great big, hey, we're in this, is Drew O'Connor with the shorthanded goal 4 minutes and 32 seconds into the period. I swear, I felt like it was Jordan Stahl scoring that shorty. I think it was against Detroit when they were, maybe the game was tied in the finals. That's what it felt like. It felt like a big goal. It felt like that was going to be something. And unfortunately for the Pittsburgh Penguins, they couldn't build upon Drew's great play. And Marchand's draped all over him, slashes him in the wrist, and he still scores that goal. Look, I just love the fact that Drew O'Connor has gotten a chance to play all year and has shown that he can play in this league. He can be he's not going to be a superstar, but look, he is a great player. He can be a very, very good player for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he's proven that he can play with Sidney Crosby and Brian Rust in his rookie year. I say good for him. He is definitely my player of the year. I'm not giving out awards yet because the season's not over. That's just a sneak preview of what's to come here at the end of the season, should there be one in a couple games. But I just love this kid. I think he's played great. He's shown grit. He can play anywhere. So good for him. But unfortunately, the Pittsburgh Penguins couldn't muster anything else after that. I know, they got a goal. I believe Bunning scored again after Geeky really, he's the guy. Geeky really killed them with that goal 14 minutes in with about, almost 6 minutes left in the game. That goal by Geeky was definitely the one that broke our backs for sure. Danton Heinen, I think, got a empty netter after that, but that wasn't the one. And then Bunning scored in the third period. So, hey, once again, 4 more goals in the third period. 10 goals in 2 periods. That's just the way the Penguins roll, especially when Jari's in goal. By the way, Jari had an .857 save percentage, only made 14 saves. I think he'll get the loss because Ned was pulled out with 3 goals. So Jari will actually get the loss for this game. I don't know that he deserves the loss, but whatever. Somebody's got to get the big L. Might as well be him. So where does that leave the Penguins for the remainder of the season? 2 games left. Philly only has 1 game. Philly is above them by a point, and they play the Capitals. So look, the Capitals and the Flyers, somebody's going to get to 89 points. That means the Pens absolutely have to win out. They have to get to 90 points, okay? That's the bottom line. So they have to beat Nashville. They have to beat the Islanders. Now, the Islanders have it really interesting because they play at New Jersey. Look, I watched that New Jersey Philly game. New Jersey's done. They have nothing left in the tank. They're not even trying to score, I swear. They just are. They've phoned it in. So I believe that the New York Islanders will actually get a point or two, and if they get a point, they're going to be firmly in that third spot, which will help the Penguins should the Penguins find a way to beat Nashville on Monday night. So that will actually help the Penguins in their quest to get to 90. But here's the deal. Detroit has 87 points. They play Montreal twice. They win out, they're going to get it. They're at 91. The Pens can't get to 91. So the Capitals, if they beat Boston and they lose to Philly, then they end up with 89. They can get the 90 points, but If they tie Philly and they lose in overtime, they can get to 90 points, but the Pens own the tiebreaker against them. So 90 points doesn't help the Capitals. And once again, the best the Flyers can get to is 89. So that's why I'm saying the Pens are not dead. They're definitely on life support. They absolutely need some help. For the Caps to lose against Boston, that would be great. Um, and for Detroit to lose either game against Montreal, and they play them back to back, by the way. They play Monday night and then they play Tuesday night before the Penguins play Wednesday night. Pens New York game will definitely, they'll know what needs to happen if the Penguins beat Nashville. Look, if they don't beat Nashville, season over. I'll be on the porch with the boys on Monday, and we'll definitely won't have a breakdown of the game then, because the game will actually be on while we're on the air, which kind of stinks for me because I would rather be watching the hockey game. And that's just the way it works sometimes. So tonight, Pittsburgh Penguins lose a heartbreaker. And it was really a heartbreaker because they weren't really in the game much, but they missed a golden opportunity. It's just kind of the way their season has been, where they've just not done great in games that really matter. But look, I told you, they had to win like 12 in a row, and the other teams had to lose all their games. The other teams finally came back, but they only won 2 games, but that's all they needed to win. So it's not looking great for the Pens, but as the hockey Jesus says, you got to continue to keep the faith. Pittsburgh Penguins fans, you got to keep the faith. We can still do this. There's only 2 games left, and the Pittsburgh Penguins can still do this. I trust in Sidney Crosby. So, until Monday night, people of the internet, say it loud and say it proud. Let's go, Pens!